have received many refugees, not so many, because we know the number of members of Ahmadiyya. But all the refugees who are accepted in Norway from Pakistan, they are Ahmadiyya. And I would like to be humble in my question, but to ask about the situation for the Ahmadiyya in relation to the Pakistani regime.
The situation of Ahmadis in Pakistan is a complex situation which presents difficulty for foreign observers to fully understand and penetrate below the surface, because it's a multiple complicity. It's a religious issue which has been exploited politically and always stands in danger of being exploited throughout the political turmoils in Pakistan. So whenever a regime fears of becoming unpopular, the only scapegoat they find to redeem some of their popularity is Ahmadiyya community. So they take more stern measures and more stern measures against them, so that the illiterate public, which is agitated by an orthodox Muslim scholar who lives in the past centuries, not in the present time, such public as is being agitated by such scholars is exploited now politically by governments. In Ahmadiyya case, an ordinance has been passed which has done already enough damage permanently to all Ahmadis' rights to live honorably as equal citizens in Pakistan. That ordinance is known as Ordinance 20, promulgated by late General Zia when he was an absolute dictator. That ordinance deprived Ahmadis of all their civil rights to express what they believe themselves to be, to behave in the manner they believe they should behave, to convey the message to others by word of mouth or by expression. And this ordinance goes so far as to declare that Ahmadis being non-Muslims in the sight of the government, so if an Ahmadi even behaves like a Muslim, it is a crime liable to be punished by 3 years rigorous imprisonment, which is an unbailable offense, and also confiscation of property to no limit. Now this is the sword of Damocles which is hanging over every Ahmadi threat since then. But more is yet to come, and more is coming. Of that I'll say later after the translation, please.
Det var utfordret på at jeg skulle oversette, men det greit. Det gjelder jo forfølgelsen i Pakistan, som jeg selv nevnte litt om i innledningen, og kalifen viste til det som ble kalt for Ordinance 20, altså lov nummer 20, som ble innført under general og president Zia-ul-Haq, den tid han var nærmest, du må kunne si, diktator i Pakistan, i 1984. Han omkom jo senere ved en for så vidt tragisk flyulykke hvor mange andre også omkom. Det var noen nok som håpet at den skulle fjernes etter ham, men den loven blir fulgt, og den kan medføre straff med inntil 3 års fengsel for en Ahmadi som oppfører seg som en muslim. Vi tror jo at vi muslimer, vi sier at vi det, men loven i Pakistan sier at hvis du Ahmadi, og du oppfører deg som en muslim, du bruker islamske uttrykk, du oppfører deg på andre vis, utfører seremonier som en muslim, og så videre, så kan du bli trukket for retten og bli idømt 3 års fengsel og ubegrensede bøter.
Now, to add more to already very severe legal measures against Ahmadis, first of all, I remind you that all that dictatorial ordinance has been made a part of Pakistan legislation now. It's no longer an ordinance passed by a dictator. It is a part of Pakistan legislative code and legal system. Secondly, to add more possibilities of persecuting and punishing Ahmadis, a law was promulgated which read that anybody who insults or is known to have insulted the holy founder of Islam is liable to be punished by death plus rigorous imprisonment for life as well. Now, this ordinance was aimed at no one other than the Ahmadis, because they believe that the Ahmadis' faith, the Ahmadis' fundamental article of faith which differentiates them from the other Muslims is one of them is this, that they believe in continuity of prophethood, in the sense that a subordinate prophet to Prophet Muhammad can still come. This is the dividing line between us and the Orthodox Muslims. Now, according to the Mullah, the Orthodox Muslim scholar, this is an insult to the Prophet to declare that a prophet can come after. So, in one of the cases in the Sessions Court in Peshawar, in Northwest Province, the judge declared his judgment that the Ahmadi who admitted in the court that according to his belief a prophet may come, he should be imprisoned for 10 years rigorous imprisonment and his property should be confiscated. And then he was so ill-treated in the jail that if I tell you the story, some of the weak-hearted people will start crying. 3 people's work was enforced on him. He had to work day and night, the hardest possible labor, not for one person, but for 3 persons. Now, this goes on in the country everywhere, but the mullahs are not still satisfied. The Supreme Sharia court, that is the religious court in Islam in Pakistan, has now made, not only now made, but it made a demand earlier on the Legislative Assembly that the second alternative punishment of imprisonment must be removed from the law. There should only be one punishment, hanging by death, for anyone who insults the Holy Prophet. What insult means is left open and confused. It is anybody's decision. So if any case goes to the court now, it will not be a question of 10 years rigorous imprisonment. It would be a question of death penalty. And if it is a crime to believe that God can speak to people even after the Holy Prophet of Islam, then every Ahmadi commits that crime. So it's only a question of chance on whose head the sword falls.
I det første delen han sa, da jeg skulle oversette, hoppet over et punkt, og det han viste til det velkjente faktum at hvis det er problemer internt et sted, så prøver han å finne syndebukker. Og for min egen del må jeg kunne vise til for eksempel jødenes situasjon i Tyskland i sin tid, hvor man lett prøver å skyve skylden over på andre. For å avskrekke oppmerksomheten mot egne problemer. Det som ble beskrevet nå, det var jo ytterligere en forklaring på den bestemmelsen som er gitt i Pakistan, som opprinnelig da var en forordning gitt av en diktator, men som senere er blitt en del av det vanlige pakistanske lov.